All right, we got to give the graphic team a raise. That was a new graphic. What a great visual that was. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How's it going? I am your host, Kevin Martin. And yes, Tuesday we all gather here on the GGPoker YouTube channel to watch some of online poker's best. Play for a lot of money. Money that only some of us can dream of. God, this tournament is so sick. Playing for almost $500,000 for first place today. I'm all amped up. Today's final table, we have some sick pros. We have some content creators. We have some streamers. We have a couple unknowns. It should be a wonderful, wonderful final table. I'm joined by one of my personal favorites in the poker world. He comes from Ireland. He is Ireland's finest. This man, he always teases himself about his old age, but he's young in spirit. He has gotten it done. He plays like a young buck, crushes online, crushes live, multiple poker book author. He is my good buddy. Let's bring in our guest for today. Dara O'Kearney is joining us on the show today. Dara, how you doing?
Kevin, that's quite the intro. Thank you for that. I definitely feel younger now after that intro. That was quite the boost, and I'm really looking forward to this. I have to say, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you, and this is a pretty sick final table we're going to come on.
It's super sick final table. Dara answered the call last minute. We had a couple other guests lined up. They had to bail. I texted Dara last minute, and Dara canceled a date with his wife, you guys. He ditched his wife to make it here. Is this true?
This is true, yeah. I've been really busy the last couple of weeks, and this was supposed to be the first day off. And I had arranged to go out for dinner with my wife at the last minute. I told her I couldn't make it. My friend Kevin O'Donnell, who's visiting from America, Kevin is another old in age but young in spirit guy. He's actually a huge fan of yours. He was very excited when I heard it was coming on, but he's taking her out on a date and he's sending me pictures and basically just goading me now at this stage.
That's amazing. I love that commitment. Well, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. You'll be my date tonight, Dara. You and I will have a little bit of chemistry on the show today. I see you all on the GG YouTube channel. Guys, give us a thumbs up to start the show. Dara literally ditched his wife to be here with you guys. That is special behavior, and I think we're going to take a second and we're just going to jump right into the action. This lineup is sick, you guys. This final table is going to be absolutely unbelievable. So let's not chit-chat any longer. Let's go down, take a look here. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a good one, Dara. Look at this lineup. Who's the first name that, kind of stands out to you that demands some attention?
Probably Malinowski, Limitless, as he's known online on most sites. Pretty sick crusher. He's just been one of the best for so long, and it's going to be very interesting. I don't know a ton about his tournament game, I have to say, so I'm going to be interested to see how he plays. Obviously, Dario Sammartino's there as well, and Dario's an absolute crusher too, both live and online. And Felipe, of course. I mean, Felipe is an absolute phenomenon, and those are the names that jump out straight away for me.
We got Felipe Ramos here. I've been doing this show for a little while now, a couple months in, and we have a GG Poker content creator that has made the final table. Our GG team has played this tournament. We've stone bricked so many bullets, and we have Felipe here representing us. I'm supposed to remain somewhat unbiased, but screw that. I'm full-fledged cheering for Felipe. One of poker's kindest, and nice to see him rep the GG flag here. He is there with 1.4 million. Well, other names, Rodrigo's here. He's got 2 million. Oh my goodness. If we look to the right side of the table, right by the dealer button right now, Riv Fun for Me is a regular, and I play with this player all the time. I think they're crazy. They're one of the wildest. They've taken some lines that have left me speechless. So very fun to see this player here. Don't know much about them, except that when I play versus them, they're just the craziest player of all time. Also, we ran Pooh short stack there. D777 rocking the short stack as well. We are playing 30K, 60K. I mean, let's do this. This is going to be a very good time.
Yeah, I think it's always nice to see different styles of players in the mix too. If you had like 9 high rollers who are all going to play very similar style, that doesn't necessarily make for a great spectacle. But different players here from different backgrounds, that should make it very interesting.
Yeah, Island Boys here. By the way, Dara, I before we started the show, I asked you, are you familiar with the Island Boys, the TikTok sensation? And there they are. This is actually them, you guys. Some people think this is a gimmick. No, this is the Island Boys. Their brief TikTok career has kind of failed. They've fallen off pretty quickly. They have turned to poker to attempt to make a living. We are making sure that the two of them are not making decisions together. It is just one of them playing, but it is the Island Boys joining us today, and they're rocking the 4 million stack. Dara, you never saw that video. You never saw the Island Boys video.
No, I have watched a bit of TikTok, and I have to say I do enjoy it as a format. It's a lot of fun as a social media network. But I'm not familiar with the Island Boys, and I'm intrigued to see how they're going to play after you've told me all that.
The weirdness of social media in 2022. The Island Boys became a household name during COVID. Some say that's for the better, and most of the population say that is for the worst. Here we go. Look at this open-ended. Sorry, the steel wheel draw. What a flop for the ace 5 of hearts here.
Chat's already going, yeah.
I'm an Island Boy. Can we pull up the video production team? Are we allowed to play the Island Boys hit song on the channel right now?
Yeah, so the player you mentioned as fairly wild has flopped pretty well on this board. It's going to be interesting to see how they proceed now. Yeah, they're just going to call.
Rodrigo leads on this board, which I can get behind. The hand choice is a little sus, but taking the aggressive line here with ace 9 offsuit, 10 peels off. They almost bet pot on the flop. Are we going to see another bet here from Rodrigo?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a board where the big blind has more straights, obviously, than the opener, and therefore, and it's a 7-high board, so they have more, 2 pairs, etc., more nutty type hands. Oh, look at this!
That is the steel wheel. The ace through 5 straight flush. Unbelievable river card. What a hand to start the show. I mean, the straight flush star. My goodness.
Straight flush, yeah. And Rodrigo looks like he's thinking maybe about bluffing here, so this could get interesting.
It could be. No, Rodrigo does not go for it. You think maybe they would bite on this river. What size is this? A straight flush. You can play poker for a long time and not find a hand this strong. What are we going on the river? Turn goes check, check. River size? A little over half pot.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. We're mostly targeting 1 pair type hands. And I guess the few emoji means he's trying to pretend he was bluffing.
Just had the steel wheel.
Yep.
Jeff Gross Poker in the chat. Good to see you, Jeff, along with everybody else. We built a nice little Tuesday community here on the GG YouTube channel. Felipe Ramos, I believe, is actually streaming as well. If you want to support him, you can load up his stream as well alongside ours. Yeah, not very often does a streamer make the final table and decide to stream. We've had some streamers make previous shows, but I think they decided to play the final table in secrecy. And here we're going to have a battle between our 2 biggest stacks, God of Baccarat, another amazing name, and the Island Boys. And this is a very interesting flop. This is a board that God of Baccarat is going to somewhat attack with their strong opening range. And as I say that, they just snap check back. So that's an early whiff from me. Dara, what is going to happen here on this turn?
I would have liked to see a bet from Island Boys, because even though we can see that God of Baccarat has a very weak hand, a lot of the time when you get the check back, you basically have a weakish showdown hand, something like ace 10 or a lower pair, and he's trying to get to showdown. But he did induce the bluff, and now he's in trouble.
What a river card.
Yeah. God of Baccarat waited until he picked up equity on the turn before he started bluffing, and now he can actually value bet.
Small size. You think that's a hand that's just going to get paid off? The very small size, but maybe we've seen some amazing folds here on the Super Millions final table, specifically over the weeks. There's been so many spots with small river bets. Yeah, this one gets paid off. No surprise there. Queen Jack, you block the King Jack, you have the Jack of Hearts, and God of Baccarat. That pot, while not like, a game breaker, that is big though, because God of Baccarat and Island Boys were pretty close, and that pot kind of just pushes God of Baccarat into the lead and gives them a little more power here early on the Super Millions final table. So I always really enjoy those big stack versus big stack confrontations at the final table. We're going to get our first look at Felipe here with a pure defend of the queen nine off.
Yeah, the big stack versus big stack are always interesting at the start of a final table because ICM is at its most extreme, and neither player is really heavily incentivized to play a very big pot. They just kind of want to get the showdown. I think that might have been part of the reason for the check back on the flop. Certainly, if this was first hand of the tournament, I think we would have seen a continuation bet there.
Got a baccarat stacking another pot. Good to see everybody again. I always ask on the YouTube channel to start the show, guys, who do you got for the win? Who do you think is looking strong out of the gate? Obviously got a baccarat's looking really strong, but I mean, we got two monsters there, Samantino and Limitless with 2.5 million. And Dara, every time I have a guest on the show, it's never mandatory, but I do offer the proposition for a fun prop bet between host and guest. So yeah, is that something you're interested in?
Yes, it is something I'm interested in. Yeah.
Gambling, asking a professional poker player to gamble. Shocking. Wow, Felipe flats here, and he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Let's dial into this hand, and then we'll set some terms for a fun prop bet after.
Yeah. Felipe can't just give up here. Obviously, he's got a king, very good kicker as well. So kind of beating everything except an ace. And Rodrigo has a pretty weak ace here, so he probably doesn't have a 3-street hand. It's a question of whether he wants to bet now or and then check behind on river, but I guess Felipe is relatively short, so there's a lot of draws as well, I guess. Diamonds, gutters. This is a tough spot for Felipe now.
Ooh, Felipe peels twice. And I think Rodrigo with ace-6, a third bet would be thin. That would be very impressive if they could find another value bet here. It's like, how do you get called by worse? But also, Felipe almost never has better. Felipe does not have many eights. They don't have ace-king. They don't have ace-ace. They don't have king-king. So it's one of those spots where you have a feeling like you probably have the best hand, but you can't get called by worse. This is an impressive shove from Rodrigo. The way he triple-barreled this for value is unbelievably impressive. And now Felipe quickly does fold as our hero Felipe off to a rough start.
Yeah, I think all you can really do there is shove the river and hope you maybe get a just disbelieving call. Somebody thinks you're on missed diamonds or something. But I think you're right. You're almost never getting called by worse. You're chopping against pretty much every ace as well. So even if Felipe has peeled with a better ace than yours, ace 10, ace jack, you're now chopping. So you can go for the shove in the river and just hope to get called. You're not expecting to get called very much, but you still have to go for it.
Felipe rocking the short stack now. We believe, though. We believe. It's a Patrick PO5 KO Carlencho in the chat. I believe we saw your fellow co-author Barry Carter make an appearance in the YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, Barry's a big fan of yours as well, and Barry watches quite a lot of Twitch. He really loves the format.
Thanks, Barry. I appreciate that. Always enjoyed my interactions online with Barry Carter. Never met him in person. Dara, let's gamble. The way we usually set this up is we each pick a horse, and if they win, your bet wins.
Okay.
So it's fun because you got to sweat your horse, and also if your horse fails, you can sweat for a chop as well. You can anti-sweat your other person's horse. So the way we've been doing this is let's determine a bet amount first. What kind of level of savagery do you want to go here?
Very low.
Go anywhere from
very low. It's really only poker I gamble big on.
Okay, $100, a friendly $100 bet.
$100 is fine, yeah.
Very, very, very fair. Okay, $100 prop bet, and not this flop, but the next flop we will play red or black to determine who has the first overall pick.
Okay.
Because going first is very important. So you can choose now, red or black for the next flop.
Okay, I'll go with black then.
Sweet. I'll take red. I'll take red for the next one. It's very funny as these two big stacks, but I took this hosting job. I'm stuck huge. I lost a jungle. Chance Corinth took a K-bomb off me. Like, it's just been so sick how I've decided to host the show and just get wrecked. Guests historically have had very profitable times prop betting with me on this show is all I'm going to say.
Okay. Okay, so that it means I'm favorite because you're bad at this game, or else you're favorite because you're due.
Yeah, exactly. One of the two. Got a baccarat. I like how fast they're acting too. It's kind of fun. They're just like snap acting as the chip leader. All right, this is a big flop coming up for our bet.
Here we go. Hopefully we'll see a flop now.
Yes. Felipe Ramos might actually deny us from seeing a flop. Could you see an all in here for 12 bigs? You're the short stack. I think this has to be a shove, right?
Yeah, I think it's a shove for sure. Yeah, it's a kind of hand. By shoving, you can get better hands to fold, and you really don't want to raise call this hand. So shove seems completely standard. Dario's the ace-10. This is
close.
Super close. I think it's purely because of ICM that's a fold. If that was pure chip EV, it would be a call. But
yeah,
that is the power of the shove. You get better hands to fold.
Absolutely. Nice shove there from Felipe. Yeah, guys, in terms of ICM, I have different smart friends throughout the poker world that I ask different things about. Dara's my ICM guy. I think, you know, in terms of ICM knowledge, Dara's at the tip top with how many hours he's put in, and he's written about the subject. He's, you know, researched it exclusively. And yeah, don't be humble, Dara. When it comes to ICM, you are the man.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I've always found ICM.
It basically means you're a nit. You just play for ladders, right?
Well, yeah, play for, except when you have a big stack, and then you just apply ridiculous pressure and take enormous pleasure in it. ICM has always been fascinating to me because it's this added dimension beyond poker that's really important in tournaments, and basically distinguishes tournaments from cash games. And D7-7 has a tricky spot here with the sevens. I mean, again, if there was no ICM, he probably just shoves, but
he does shove.
Yeah, he has gone for the shove. Can't really blame him, and I don't think the ace-10 can call here. You're just dominated too much. Yeah, and he does fold.
I think in most situations, the 7-7 is close there. On GGPoker, I know you play a lot on GGPoker. The sevens are the GG nuts. They are very overpowered on the website. They win more flips than they should. They flop an above average amount of sets. So I like, you know, I would include sevens in there for sure on GGPoker. They are, in fact, the GG nuts. Everybody's come to realize that over the years as well.
Yeah, it's good to know. I clearly haven't been playing sevens enough then.
You know, I started putting, you know, I study these four betting ranges, and then I always put the sevens in there, no matter what, on GGPoker.
Yeah, and we're still waiting to see our flop, so we don't know who gets to go first.
We're still awaiting our first flop. I have red, you have black. It will come here shortly.
Yeah, this King 3 open is very loose, particularly
very loose.
Yeah,
great 3-bet candidate here with the ace-8 off, by the way. Like, one 100%. Of the best ones, I think.
Yeah, but it's going to work this time.
Wow, if your opponent's opening King 3, it's if that information gets through, I think some people are going to be 3-betting Rodrigo a little bit later.
Yeah, for sure.
Chad is asking, is this the real Island Boys? Yes, they are the real Island Boys. They had a brief viral career on TikTok. It quickly faded. They had a little bit of money. They decided they wanted to be a high-stakes poker player. And the two of them, while they don't come across as the sharpest individuals, they have dedicated their game and their life to cards. So yes, it is the actual Island Boys. I've seen that question a few times. Hey, we have a flop. That flop is black.
Flop is black. That means I get to go
black. First, you have the first overall pick, which is, you know, sometimes not important, but in this case, I think it's very important. All right.
I mean,
taking with your horse.
The really boring play here is just to take the chip leader, who seems to be playing pretty well as well. So I'm going to go for God of Baccarat.
That makes sense. That makes sense. A clear choice. Dara has God of Baccarat for my pick. Okay, this one's going to be a little harder. I have to think of position here versus God of Baccarat. I am going to take Limitless with 2.3 million. I was thinking about taking the Island Boys, but I am going to take Limitless as my horse. I would say advantage you, Dara, to start.
Yeah, Although that said, if things change around, Limitless is going to have immediate position on my guy, so that's not going to be good for me. Yeah, if I'd been going second and you taken the chip leader, I think it was a toss up between him and Dario San Martino. Dario is a pretty sick tournament player. Obviously, he went deep in the WSOP main event a couple of years ago, and he does have position on the two other guys, but he is the shortest of the three of them. So it's finely poised.
Should be a fun match. Riv for Fun Me, finding the block. We've seen Ace-5 flop a couple of flush draws so far. Chat is saying that my pick is bad. I made a bad pick. Nah, chat. Victor's got it. We believe in Victor.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm happy we chose a small bet this week because you have a huge edge right off the get-go.
I mean, it's just really boring to take the chip leader, but that is the chip leader has to be pretty bad for him not to be favorite.
You got to make the right play.
Oh, and our two boys are in action here already. Interested to see if he wants to start applying a bit of ICM pressure here. I mean, you mentioned ICM just means fold a lot, but in these spots, he can put a lot of pressure on Victor. Victor goes for a really small bet just to try and get the immediate fold. I would be personally very tempted to check raise here.
Oh,
yeah, there it is.
You and your horse are on the same wavelength. Looks good.
I feel like this. We got backdoors, and Limitless is just in a very tricky spot now with ICM. Of course, he might be just completely ignoring ICM, and if he does, that actually increases his chance of winning. But no, he does let it go.
Wow, almost up to 6 million chips for the god of Baccarat. Dara, have you played some Baccarat during your days?
I have never played Baccarat, I have to say. I'm really bad on all that stuff. I just don't like gambling on casino games.
Of course.
I like to have an advantage when I gamble, and the only one that I might have been tempted by at some stage is blackjack, but I haven't put enough work into it, and I can count cards, but I haven't put enough study into it that it would really be worth my while.
I mean, that's very smart. I mostly subscribe to that theory where I just play poker. That's why I just play poker. The other games, not so much. Once in a while when you're in Vegas and the lads are having a few beers, though, you head off to the Baccarat table. You get to peel the cards, you know.
Yeah, that's when it happens for sure. That's the only time I've ever played roulette or craps or any of those games, purely in Vegas.
We ran Pooh, going to find a nice shove here. Takes it down. No blood is spilt yet. We can see we're in level 31. One thing I really like about the GG Poker final tables is they turn the clock off. You play a certain amount of hands, which I think is very, I like it. I like it. You can take your time with decisions if you want. Now, this will be very interesting to see what Victor does against the button open here with Ace-5 suited. You have 30 big blinds. You have a hand that feels like it needs to be V-pipped, right? But what do? Let's see what Victor does.
Yeah, this is super interesting. His stack is really awkward here. Obviously, if he had less, he could just shove, but 30 big blind is a big shove in this spot. I'm not sure the risk reward is great. He would only be adding whatever that is, 70% to his stack if it got through, and he'd be in terrible trouble if he got called. This is a tough spot, but he has gone for the shove. Yeah, he obviously just didn't fancy the flat, and he certainly didn't want to induce with his hand.
Yeah, it's one of those spots where you're almost always going to get it through. It's just when it doesn't, it's just devastating. It's just so brutal. Nice to see Victor take a shove and successfully get it through. Rodrigo showed that wide open with king 3 off. I don't think the table is aware of that just yet, but now Rodrigo has kings under the gun. And the one hand that could get spicy here, I mean, ace-6 of hearts, tempting.
Yeah, he's relatively deep as well, but yeah, he does let it go. Ace-6 is pretty much the worst ace because your kicker is garbage and you can't flop it straight. The 10-7 does defend though, which is 10-7 suited, perfectly reasonable.
Wow, these players are all playing lightning fast, which I quite enjoy.
Yeah,
I quite enjoy that as an online poker spectator.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with God of Baccarat. God of Baccarat is flying the Canadian flag, which also makes me like them. I'm a proud member of the Great White North here. Yeah, not familiar with them, but they're coming out really aggressive. I like their style. And here they are in a prime spot to maybe take a run at this thing.
Yeah, this is a fine chip leader open. If you were shorter, you probably wouldn't want to open this. But as the chip leader, his opens are just going to get through more often because guys are just taking a risk if they tangle with the chip leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the stacks are all quite flat apart from him. So this is a great spot for him to just sort of keep the pressure on.
A bit of a wide open here for Riv fun for me, but it does work nicely.
Yeah, I think it's a better open on a final table than earlier in the tournament. Having the ace blocker is super good, and people are just less likely to 3-bet you behind because of the ICM. So, but it is obviously it's a terrible hand if you end up having to take it post flop.
God of Baccarat just mucked ace 4 of clubs. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. That's astonishing. I mean, he should really be opening any suited ace, given his chip lead. Actually, no. Felipe is short. Felipe is short in the big blind. I think that's the reason there. I still would open it, but yeah, it's a bit mucky because Felipe is going to be looking to shove a lot of hands, and you're probably going to have to be priced in if that happens, and you're going to be a 2-to-1 dog a lot of the time. I'm guessing that was the reason.
Yeah, shocking that God of Baccarat did not open the ace 4 clubs after opening the 9-7 suited. So we're gonna have to that's a storyline to follow, is what kind of opening hands does God of Baccarat go for? Because it's a bit inconsistent. It's more certainly of like a feel. It's a bit of a field play of like, I'm gonna play this one, I'm not gonna play this one. We'll have to see as that goes forward. Speaking of wide opens, the button open here. Probably it makes sense into the 2 shorter stacks. It's not outrageous, but it's a little wide.
Yeah, it's fine. The king blocker is kind of useful, and you're not going to if you get shoved on, you have an easy fold. Okay, this is interesting now because he's open-ended and the queen 9 has top pair.
Yeah, this could go a variety of ways here.
This is a much trickier spot than it looks because he doesn't really want to bet and get shoved on, but at the same time he could take I don't mind that check back at all. This is just such there's going to be a lot of check raising on this board, I think. Yeah, now the big blind is pretty sure he has the best hand here, but he wants to deny equity to a lot of hands. Very small bet, which is interesting.
Small bet call. Do we block again? Another small bet from the big blind?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you could go here. You could also check and try and induce a bluff. Just go check call. There are a lot of hands that can bluff here. So, but yeah, he's gone for sort of the blocker type bet. He's trying to get called by, well, even ace high might call, thinking there's a lot of missed draws, but no, Island Boys gets away.
Island Boys. Victor with the 9-9. No blood yet. We talked about this all the time, Dara, and this is a big part of your ICM book, which I read this chapter, I think 2 or 3 times, so it sunk in. ICM is at a peak when the final table starts. Between like 9 to 13 players left is where ICM is at the maximum effect.
Yeah, that's correct. People often get this back to front. They think because the pay jumps get bigger as you go, the ICM ramps up, but actually on a final table, it's at its peak right at the start, and each time a player gets eliminated, the ICM actually goes down. And by the time you get to heads up, there's no ICM anymore. It's just 2 guys playing for the difference between first and second. And actually, the peak before the final table is even bigger. The peak on the final table bubble is really, really severe. Oh, look at this! Felipe has aces. I mean, this is anything he does is going to look ridiculously strong, apart from the shove. So.
Yeah, you have to shove. You can't play.
Yeah, he has to shove. Anything else, just more or less, he might as well hold up an emoji saying "I have aces."
Felipe with a much needed pickup there gets him up to 11 big blinds. Rodrigo had the kings earlier, finds him again here. That's a good note. Like when I started playing poker, I knew loosely about what ICM was, but I always thought like, oh, Final Four, ICM so high right now, you have to
Yeah.
ladder. But I mean, in your book, you spelled it out very nicely about why that is not the case and why ICM actually decreases when you get shorthanded, and how nine-handed, 10-handed is where it's at the max.
And that's why if you watch high roller final tables, you'll see very, very tight play at the start, and people are often quite surprised. And there are the old tropes of, well, somebody should be playing for the win and going really aggressive. But in pure mathematical terms, that's a mistake. Obviously, it's always situational, and if the rest of the table is just very, very passive, that can be in a very effective style. But if everybody's playing correctly, like they would be on a high quality high roller final table, then that's actually optimal, just to play very tight at the start. Limitless could be losing some chips here.
Yeah, this is a card that Big Blind is going to find some leads on as well. I don't know if we're using this exact hand, but Victor is. Rodrigo, I think, is going to pure call now, not going to find any raises with one pair. Very fascinating hand here. Bet call on the flop, small lead. The river is the jack of clubs.
Victor, does he want to turn his hand into a bluff now? He'd be pretty sure he doesn't have the best hand anymore once he got called, but no, he's just taking his showdown. Yeah, I like to call on the turn there because our hand really doesn't need protection, and we might get another street of value from a weaker one pair hand if we just call. Is he going to value bet here? Yeah, he goes for the fairly small value bet. Check raise here would be pretty sick.
That would be a fun line to find. I think you usually want to have a club here with your check raise bluffs, but
yeah, agreed. But it looks like he's thinking about something.
He just finds the folds.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a great hand to bluff, but he would certainly have some bluffs there.
Adric in the chat says, thanks for shouting out Dara's books. I literally just bought it. Will, which one? There's multiple.
Thank you.
Which ones? How many poker books do you have published now? 3, 4?
3. It's 3 now. We're working on number 4. The first one was on satellites. The second one's on peak. Oh, look at this.
Look, I mean, okay, God of Baccarat is 100% a field player.
This is amazing. What a hand to choose.
What a hand choice to choose. We saw the ace fourfold earlier, and we have now absolutely confirmed that God of Baccarat is just senses the moment, and I'm cheering for them. Even though, if they win, I lose $100 to Dara. I love when somebody just comes in and 3-bets the 8-9 offsuit. Yeah.
It's impressive. In some ways, I feel much better about my pick, but in other ways, I feel less confident now. But it's working so far. So fair play. Also, I mean, the opener there hasn't really been loose to. I mean, we saw him shove 7s earlier, but it's not like he's opening a lot, and he opened under the gun, and 8-9 off is a very unorthodox 3-bet.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just so shocked by that. You have to continue your thought.
Yeah, no, that was well worth the intrusion. Yeah, the first book was on satellites. The second book was on PKOs, and the latest book is on ICM, which I guess is the most relevant book here. And Felipe is all in. Probably getting called and probably chopping unless one of them hits their flush.
Let's see a sweat. We are going to see a sweat here. We don't know who it's going to be for. Oh, Felipe!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
And now,
spade.
I love this feature. Love this feature.
Oh,
it is a spade. We can see it's a spade. Amazing.
Oh, the ace queen versus ace queen. Now, this is when everybody says, the GG Pro free roll. Just, whenever I win a pot like that, I'm instantly bombarded with a large amount of suspect behavior in the chat. Ace Queen gets there versus Ace Queen. Felipe with the free roll. That is a big swing in equity there for Felipe Ramos. Flops the free roll, gets there on the river, and sends us the Jason Mimoso gift.
Yeah, we see Dario in action for the first time, just flattening the ace queen because it's an early position raise. And again, we were talking about this before, but when you have the type of hand which, if you 3-bet it, is going to fold out all the worse hands and not fold out any of the better hands, it tends to be a better flat than a 3-bet. That's why Dario has flatted here.
Flops top two. Now we ran Pooh bluffing with the gut shot. Another interesting one developing here.
Yeah, this is where Ampu's bored more than Dario's. Dario's, I mean, you can't really put him on ace queen after the flat pre-flop. You can't put him on a lot of strong hands unless he's flopped a set. He certainly doesn't have aces or queens. So where Ampu, I can't really blame him for keeping the pressure up. The question is, does Dario just call again, or is he going to raise?
We're just calling, right? Yeah. Oh my lord!
Oh, that's sick. Oh, this could be.
What is the nasty river cards today from the GG poker gods? That's it for Dario. Good thing I didn't pick Dario. It's
yeah. I think Dario is going to have about 200,000 chips after this hand.
We're going to see a shove and a call. Top two versus the rivered nuts. Are you kidding me with that card? Dario is not going to snap, but going to call pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Sick.
Wow. Dario, it's not GG yet. Does have that tiny. Honestly, three bigs at the final table is worth more than you know. You can get some landers. You can spin it back up. Unbelievable. Chat explodes in the same way that I did. That was sick, you guys. Unbelievable river cards so far today.
Yeah, I mean, Dario played his hand perfectly just to get maximum value. He's very unlucky, and sometimes, you know, people get results based and they say, oh, well, he should have raised the previous street and he would have got the fold. But the way he played the hand was the most profitable long term. Just unfortunately for him, was one of the few times, well, one of the 10% of times or whatever he gets sucked out on.
Yeah, in one of those, this is one of those cases where, you know, people can visually say, oh, if he would have raised, he would have won the pot, protected his equity. His opponent had 4 outs. You don't want that hand to fold. You have him so crushed. You're not looking to get king 10 to fold there. You're looking at just getting all the chips in on the river. Just a savage result there.
There was a very good chance there if where Pooh had missed on the river, he was piling anyway. Exactly. And then Dario was the one getting the double up.
Now, this creates an interesting dynamic because Dario has 3 big blinds, and when the 3 big blind stack is at the final table, it can give the big stacks the green light. Like, do we see the 8-4 suited raise? No, snap folds. I was wondering if we might see a little super wide open there. This is very fascinating because Felipe has the 9s here. Dario has 3 bigs. A lot could happen.
Yeah. Dario could have gone with his hand there, but I guess he decided to wait for a better spot. King Jack is going to be dominated a lot. He's not to know that he's actually dominating. The ace-10 on the button is interesting, and obviously the 9s are waiting in the small blind. The 9s might just shove. Although, again, Dario being so short, really, as you just said, that really changes the dynamic.
And does Felipe rip the 9s here? It would be uncomfortable. Don't know what he's going to do. I could see him actually just avoiding this spot. What do you think he's going to do here, Dara? I don't know.
This is a tricky spot. I mean, the shove is insanely profitable in chippy V terms, and Victor does seem to be the one guy opening the loosest. Yeah, I was about to suggest the call. The call is fine here, and you can basically navigate on a lot of boards. Now we're probably just check folding, but 9s kind of defines itself on the flop a lot of the time. What's Victor going to do here? He's going to be worried that Felipe has an ace because he's the small blind, so therefore there's a lot of ace X in the flatting range there as well, I think. Yeah, don't mind that check back at all because he was worried about the ace. Now he's improved to 2 pair. Felipe picks up a gut shot.
Yeah, Felipe just checks. Felipe cannot really go crazy here.
No.
Doesn't have the top sets, doesn't have aces, queens, jacks in his range. Does have 10-9 suited, perhaps, maybe not. And then king 10 suited could also be in there. But in general, this board is much better for limitless. So not
much better for limitless for sure. And even though Felipe picked up a gut shot, it's a very bad gut shot. It would not, a diamond might not be good. He'd be still losing to a king. So the check fold is standard there. I really like the way Felipe played that hand. He took the low variance approach. He lost a few chips, but he wasn't going to go mad unless he hit a set or a very good board.
Here we go, Dario. Chance to
Dario's
spin.
going to be in here.
Doesn't get better than this.
I guess the ace king is calling.
We can see both sixes are dead, by the way. Both sixes are dead.
Oh, Lord.
And I think all the aces and kings are live. So this is not exactly a flip.
Lord.
Let's see.
Yeah.
A little bit of justice. Keep Dario around, perhaps. He got wrecked on that river. Well, safe so far.
Yeah. Oh.
He's actually dead. We saw those two outs be mucked. Good game, Dario Sammartino, second place, the World Series main event. Online crusher, gets it done everywhere. An absolute beast of the game. He takes home $56,000, and all the other short stacks excited to get their first ladder. Emotionally, at the final table, the first ladder is very relevant. You're like, okay, at least I didn't get ninth.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you make a final table, you know what you're guaranteed. And then once the first guy goes out, first of all, there's like not the embarrassment of being the first person walking away, but you've won extra. So that always feels good for sure. I'm very happy now too that I won that red versus black flip, because I'm pretty sure you were going to pick the chip leader and then I was probably going to pick Dario. So I'd already be very sad.
That was a key flip to determine our horses. Bad news for Felipe here. Has the ace queen and in somewhat late position. Oh, this could be bad news. I would be tempted to send it here. You got the first ladder. There's one other short stack. You have ace queen. God of Baccarat has 3-bet some wide hands. Yeah. How do we not put the money in here with ace queen? We just have to go all in.
Yeah, it's the chip leader who's 3-bet you. The only thing that might save him is come from the small blind rather than the big blind. But yeah, it's really, really difficult here. I'm just looking around the other stacks. There's D7-7 has about the same as Felipe if Felipe folds. So I don't think the ICM is even that extreme because of that. The fact that he's going to be, well, he will be the short stack if he folds. So very, very hard not to just put the chips in the middle now. But he's given a lot of thought.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Felipe Ramos. I would have gone broke there. Felipe folds the ace queen versus the chip leader and escapes almost certain death. That was an impressive little escape there, Dara. Very, very impressive.
That was very impressive. Yeah. I think most people wouldn't even have given it too much thought. As you said, like aggressive chip leaders 3-bet you, and you're not necessarily going to give him credit. He could just be applying pressure and you have ace queen, but Felipe did find the fold and he's still alive as a result.
Just super, super impressive. Good to see everybody. We're almost up to 1,300 viewers on the GG YouTube channel. We've seen a nice steady increase over the weeks on our Super Million show. Do us a favor, drop the thumbs up. If a bunch of you do it right now, we can get over 100 likes. Takes 2 seconds. We're providing this awesome free content every Tuesday. That would just be, we don't ask much from you. Show up, hit the thumbs up button. That would be very, very, very much appreciated. As the early theme here on this final table is God of Baccarat really putting the pressure here. I was thinking about 3-betting there with the King Jack. Avoids it. Unbelievable fold there from Felipe.
Yeah.
Dara, have you played this tournament at all? This 10K Super Millions?
No, I haven't. I have to admit. As I said, I played very little online this year. Unfortunately, I've just been so busy with the other stuff, and live poker's back here now. But I'm really trying to prioritize playing some more online poker between now and Vegas. Look at this.
Sorry to interrupt. We have premium.
Oh.
Jack, aces, ace, king.
This could really be a game changer. This could level the stacks up.
I'm hoping my horse. I have $100 bet on Victor. This is a good time for me.
Yeah, this is a great time. And Ace King is behind as well. So,
wow.
Last year, the Ace King might go for it.
Ace King is going to shove, and then Jack's. This could be a 3-way all in, which almost never happens. This could actually be a 3-way all in here. There's the shove from Ace King. You got to think God of Baccarat is probably going to put it in.
Yeah, although you don't know it when the
he snap puts it in.
Has snapshot now. The ace. Okay.
Wow. Aces, ace, king, jack.
What a spot.
Wow. That's basically it. Unbelievable. Island Boys is gone, and Victor is your overall chip leader. What a swing in one hand there. My, oh my.
Great pick, Kevin. very strong favorite now. The one of the best players on the table and now the chip leader. That's a horrible cooler for God of Baccarat.
The Island Boys, you know, just the young two Californian TikTok sensations, hit single. I'm an island boy. Dun, 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 dun. I can't believe you've never heard that song, dude. Every person on the planet heard that song during COVID, Dara.
Yeah, okay. I'll be guided by chat on this. Do you guys think I should go to the trouble of seeking this out, or will it just make my life worse?
No, the video is 30 seconds long. You need to look it up. You need to look up the Island Boys song. Absolutely. Island Boys are gone. $73,000. We'll be curious to see if they continue to pursue poker or they go back to TikTok after that bust out. And just like that, we are down to 95K guaranteed. I mean, so much blood there. Felipe is a big beneficiary. Instant ladders sure. There. The other stacks ladder.
Yeah. Felipe and D77 were absolutely loving that result. They've now laddered, and a player who had them well covered is gone.
Chat is saying, no, Dara, do not look up the Island Boys. We are jealous that you do not know who they are. That's what the chat's saying.
Yeah, thank you for that, guys. I mean, like, I'm old, so you know there's a danger of cardiac arrest if it's too alarming.
I think it's a treat. I think it's one of those.
Okay,
I've watched it too many times to admit.
Kevin's on the church, so yeah, we shall see. Maybe I'll be feeling very brave one night, and I'll seek it out.
It just changes so much. Victor is your chip leader. Wow. What a swing. I'm very interested because Victor is an all-time legend, but not really in the tournament sense as much, right? They got it done in the cash game straight. I mean, obviously they're a tournament crusher as well, but that's not what they're known for. I'm excited to see them play this final table with the chip lead. And this is bad news for D777 in the big blind.
Yeah, he's going to get it in here, drawing to a queen. There's no other realistic outcome here. You just have to stick it in and get the bad news.
Shove, call, again, ace queen. What did Doyle Brunson say about ace queen?
Yeah, I can't remember, but he definitely hates it. Oh, and there it is, the queen. That is unfortunate for Riv Fun for me.
That is a nasty turn card for Riv Fun for me. They take the hit in stride, I'm sure. Felipe, that's also a big hit for Felipe. Felipe was looking forward to another ladder there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Felipe has lost at least as much there as Riv Fun for me. And the ladders are getting very juicy now as well.
The real tragedy of our recent developments have been, now that the Island Boys are eliminated, will I be able to continually reference them the rest of the show? That's what I'm worried about. I was hoping they would make it heads up so we could have plenty of Island Boy references.
Yeah. I mean, they played really well. Or I don't know if they were both playing, or in fact, I don't know how many Island Boys there even are. There were two in the picture, so I'm assuming it's two. But yeah, you sometimes see these influencers and, you know, they really can't play, but no mistakes there.
I'm almost in tears over here. Just trying to picture the Island Boys playing high stakes poker. Goodness me, too much fun here. Too much fun. You know what else is fun is locking up 95K guaranteed. That's fun.
Also, hitting the river is fun when you were dominated.
Yes. A couple of queens have appeared the last couple of hands to shift the tide.
This is a very small bet as well, so this might get a cry call from the ace high. There used to be a time when people said small river bets like this were never a bluff, and then started people using them as bluffs. So let's see what Rodrigo's going to do.
Especially in spots like this, I believe it was check, 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 and then you can just use the small size to attack king highs, ace highs. So
Yeah.
there's a bit of a meta where this size gets used for either like really weak value hands trying to squeak out a call from ace high, or you're trying to get that weak portion of the range to fold.
Yeah.
Rodrigo in the tank here. Does pay it off.
Yeah, I can't really blame him because maybe that bet was coming from a lot of weaker hands than ace high when after that action, as you said, check the whole way.
We haven't called their name too much, but we ran Pooh low-key having a very nice final table so far.
Yeah, Felipe is now by far the shortest stack, which in some ways kind of means his game is easier now. He doesn't have to worry as much about ICM. He's significantly shorter than the others, and he can play close to chip EV.
Excited to see ace 3 here in the big blind. Mostly calling and sprinkling in some 3-bet bluffs here would be nice. That would be class. As we ran Pooh. Ah, yes.
There's the 3-bet bluff. Yeah.
Just a little sprinkle of the 3-bet bluff. A nice find with the ace 3.
Yeah. And D777 has a lot of ICM pressure on him now that Felipe is so short and Rodrigo has about the same stack. So he's a good guy to target for that sort of thing. If this folds around to the button, I think we're probably going to see an all-in and a call.
Yes. Dara, this is a big moment for GGPoker sponsored player Felipe Ramos. Got the free roll earlier down to 10 bigs. Definitely going to see a shove here. Ace Queen has been an active hand. We're going to see it again here. It's a big flip.
Yeah. Another one for Felipe.
Can the threes hold? Wow. Got to fade the entire deck. Can't do it.
Oh, drawing dead now.
Stone dead. Good game to Felipe Ramos. What a run. Streamed it all on his Twitch stream as well. Very impressive. 95K. I'm sad to see him go. Good game to Felipe.
I see Dark Angel, who I know very well, done in the chat saying Island Boys was Espen. I guess she means Espen Jorstad, who I know very well. And it does seem like the kind of name that Espen would choose. Ulin Poker.
I remember hearing stories from the poker boom when, online poker back in the day. And there was apparently a lot of strategy around choosing your screen name and your profile picture because you could get people to punt to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember writing a strategy article, slightly joking, but not entirely on the reads you could get from screen names. Things like if the guy's in all caps, he's always a fish. If he has some vainglorious name like I'm a pro or I win all your money, again, usually a fish.
I love it.
And if they had some really boring name, there was a good chance they were actually a pro.
Oh, I just love the stories about the poker boom. I started playing poker in 2014, and I just the stories that people say from 2004 to 2008 are just so glorious.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that was a great time for online poker. Great time to discover online poker. I'm really happy I discovered online poker around mid-noughties. It was a really interesting time, exciting time to be playing online poker.
We have Felipe in the chat saying, good game, folks. We tried hard. Thanks for the good vibes. My man, Felipe, doing us all proud. Just needed to win that flip at the end as well. Good run, Felipe. I'm sure you will be back. As Victor has stormed the lead here in a big way.
Rodrigo has an interesting spot here because Riffon for me has definitely been one of the looser players, and Victor has just called. I think he was thinking about shoving there maybe and just trying to take down the 532, but ace 8 just felt a bit weak. And this is an action flop.
Open-ended straight draw versus top pair top kicker. Yeah, Victor definitely looking to bet this board. Makes sense. I would think if you're at the start of the tournament, 9-10 here would mix a bunch of raises. But yeah, given the final table situation, just going to play a little more chill. Peels and hits a 10. Now, what does Victor do in this turn? I think we're betting. I love poker. What a great, fascinating game.
Yeah, this is a very interesting spot now. We have top, but the board is very coordinated now.
Ooh, pot.
This is good. He's targeting these types of hands, trying to get value. Basically, if you bet small there, you give most of the hands a really easy decision. So this is a tough spot now.
Oh, check calls, hits the straight.
It's hard to get value there. Yeah, I think I mean, obviously, when you lead, it's going to look super fishy, but I think I would like a very small lead there, make it look like a blocker.
There we go, Felipe Ramos. Every person is in part of the 6-figure club now. 6 figures guaranteed. Or how many have you've had a couple 6-figure scores?
Live, yeah, my biggest score was 300 at the WSOP. Online, I don't think I've actually had one. I think my biggest score, I chopped Super Tuesday back in 2013-ish, and I think that was 90 something. So actually, yeah, that's eluded me, the 6-figure score.
You've been so smart though in how you've attacked your online poker career. You have avoided the tougher high stakes games and just constantly crushed. Dara has one of the most pretty graphs ever created in online poker, just constantly getting it done. I respect that. I have aspirations to like, when I see like this Millions final table, I'm like, I want to get there. I want to play against the best. But there's something to be said for just like auto printing versus weaker competition and game selecting really hard. So I respect that as well.
Yeah, to be honest, a lot of that just comes from the fact that by the time I started playing poker, I had, a family to support. So I couldn't really risk going broke. I had to make sure that my income stream and that my graph was very, very steady. So that was my approach. I think at your stage of life, it's a lot different. You can go for it much more aggressively, and it does make absolute sense to go for more aggressive. I remember Phil Hellmuth talking about this, saying that when he started and he had little to lose, he was willing to risk it all. But then past a certain point, you just have too much to lose. And by the time I started, I think I was already past that point.
I love that. Fascinating hand here. We are improved. Just calls pre, underreps his hand. Now Victor has turned to top pair.
Yeah, Victor is the type of player who will go for value more than most players. We saw him bet the top pair on the scary board last time very aggressively, and he's done the same here. He's gone for 2/3 pot roughly. Wherampu just calls again. Now the board gets very scary from the point of view of jacks, but this might just go check.
Yeah. Check river, almost a certainty here. And Victor was looking like could run away with it, but a couple tough hands, and now it's going to be pretty even Stevens between these 4 stacks on the right side of the table. We ran poo. We're not leading here. Yeah,
the only other option is a really small blocker bet, but I don't. Well, I guess there is some argument for, but I think the check is more standard. And Victor is such a sicko; he might just turn his hand into a bluff here. The pot's very big, but no, he does take a showdown. He's basically hoping that missed hearts or some other misdraw he's winning against.
Yeah, what you're getting at there is We Ran Pro has a lot of like 8s through 10s there, 8s through jacks that you could potentially get to fold. But the hand just also wins a lot. Yeah,
exactly. Victor's been by far the loosest player on the table so far. He's shown willingness to open, stuff like Queen Jack or that hand there is 7. Whereas other players have been playing a bit more cautiously. So that actually makes him harder to range. Like you can't rule out him having a straight on that board.
God of Baccarat is unorthodox. Not saying bad, but they have taken lines and bets and hands that you would not see many people take. Just like leading there on Queen 7 deuces, most players just wouldn't do that. So I love that. I love that though. God of Baccarat. I mean, taking some interesting lines. Mostly they've been successful as well. And Lou Min says, is this live? We are live on a delay. We are on a dynamic delay. So if you seek out this final table on the GG Poker client, you can know what's happening and you can watch it live. I think we're on a 50-minute delay to start the show, but we operate on a dynamic delay where we skip the breaks and catch up to the final table by the time it ends. Here we go. Blinds are up 50K, 100K. Pace of play really quickly here. We see the big stacks all on the right side of the table. Rodrigo and DZZZ sitting around at the 15 big blind mark. All players 6 figures locked up. JF says, does anyone know who River for Fun Me is and where they are from? I don't know too much about them besides the fact that they're very tough to play versus. They're in a lot of my games. I've played with River for Fun Me all the time, and they've definitely owned me in a couple of spots with some I just have them tagged as like the most aggressive player, you know, one of the most aggressive players I play against. They have $1 million in GG cashes. This is their first final table in the Super Millions. And they're having a good showing so far.
Interesting spot here. When the small blind limps and doesn't get raised, he has more ace-x in his range. So that's why he's leading here. But he's run into a pair. Now he's turned a pair himself. He might just try and take his showdown now, or he might decide to barrel again. It's very hard for the big blind to have an ace when he checks behind.
We ran Pooh, could be our chip leader after this hand, which is just so crazy considering they came in as one of the shortest stacks.
Yeah.
We ran Pooh, excuse me, came in as the shortest stack. Stone shortest with 22 big blinds. They had 1.3 million to start the final table. And if they win here with the check, as they do, they have gone from the short stack to leading the Super Millions. What a spin up.
Yeah, that can happen quite a lot in final tables because if you win your all-ins, basically, you know, you're right back in it. Even the shortest stack on the table now, let me look around quickly, D777. If he doubled up twice, he's chip leader.
Dara, that is one area I've been focusing on. I was talking before the show started about my study and what I've been researching and learning. Also, I saw a tweet from Landon Tice the other day that reminded me of this. Landon Tice said, I am dedicating the rest of my career to figuring out how to win all-ins.
It's a good strategy.
Which
if you can do that, you'll do well.
Do you have any secret tips? Do you, maybe sacrifice animals? Do you squint your eyes in a certain way? Do you think happy thoughts? Do you got any tips for the all-in portion of the game?
Yeah, no, I think it's like everything else. Practice makes perfect. So like just get a deck of cards and deal out hands and just practice, keep trying. And, maybe you can get your percentage up then by doing that.
Dara, you deliver something about your humor. You deliver it in such a dry way that it just gets me sometimes. Oh my goodness. One tip I have to say, I got this tip from Jeremy Osmus at the World Series of Poker. We were playing in a tournament. Jeremy Osmus, shout out to Jeremy, who's been crushing really, really hard. He said, when two hands are felted and the dealer's about to run out the cards, never say good luck when you're in the hand. Never, ever, ever say good luck. He says, when you say good luck, he estimated that reduces your all-in equity by about 3 to 4%, which is going to make a long difference in the long run.
That seems scientific. Yeah, my house guest at the moment, the legendary Kevin O'Donnell, who was taking my wife out for the night, as we mentioned earlier, he told me that Antonio Esfandiari once said to him that if you're all in and you need, let's say, a king, or you need to avoid a king, it doesn't matter. Don't say king or no king. It doesn't matter. If you say no king, you're putting the king out there into the universe, and therefore you're more likely to get sucked out on. So that's another tip from one of the all-time greats, Antonio Esfandiari.
Antonio Esfandiari, the magician, the poker magician. He was one of the biggest names during the poker boom for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, Rodrigo finds the running sevens here. Wow, got a baccarat. This is what I'm talking about. over bets here with the ace jack, kind of out of nowhere, right into the trips.
Yeah.
And that is Rodrigo scooping a massive pot. Chips are flying here at this Super Millions final table.
Chips are swinging back and forward. Yeah, got a baccarat, had got back to level with Victor, your pick, but now Victor, advantage Victor again. But apart from D77, who's the action is on now, the other stacks are all very level.
Got a baccarat. That's your horse, Dara.
Yeah.
You haven't been thrilled with a couple of hands they've
Maybe I should have put more thought into the screen name tell and asked myself how many good baccarat players are also good poker players.
Didn't WSOP main event champion Qui Win was known as
Win,
a baccarat?
Yeah. He was mostly a baccarat player.
I've ventured into the high stakes room at the Aria just to visually enjoy some high stakes baccarat, not participate. I couldn't sit at one of those tables, far too expensive. And there's some money being wagered on those baccarat tables. There's some large amounts of dollars being swung around.
This is a super loose open here from Riverfront for me. Living up to your pre-game hype that he was he liked to mix it up. 5-3 against 5-3. I think the 5-3 in position is going to win on this board.
The battle of the 5-3 suiteds. Yeah, that is a very wide open. Now River for Fun Me slips into the chip lead. I expect to see more wide opens from them.
Interesting spot here now with the King 10, which is obviously a well above average hand. Yeah, so he's gone for the raise from the small blind. I think without Chippy V, if that was pure Chippy V, the 8-6 would probably be a call, but the ICM pushes it the other way.
It can be very interesting to see how these stacks play. All pretty close besides D7777. Got a baccarat is the one that has swung around most here. They're sitting at 30 big blinds. If we see the Queen 5 off, sorry, the Queen 5 suited open here.
Yeah,
they're really going for it here.
You called it.
This is not by the book, ladies and gentlemen.
No, this is not Munker approved for sure.
This is called expanding the range, which is fun. I respect players that expand the range, and here they are rewarded with a flush draw.
Yeah. If you're going to expand the range, these are the good types of hand to do it. You know, suited kings, suited queens, because they hit a lot of flops as we see here. One example, and River Fun for me is a tricky spot now because his ace high is going to be good a decent amount of time, particularly against God of Baccarat. He does have backdoors as well, so yeah, I like this move with the ace of hearts and the 5.
Were you just going to see a shove on the flop? No, just calls. Wow, both turn the same open-ended straight draw now.
And the static pot ratio is barely over 1 now, so wouldn't be too surprised to see them get it in here. God of Baccarat has so much equity now with his flush draw and his open ender. He can raise and get a lot of better hands to fold. But even if he gets called, he has good opportunities to win the pot. This is a tricky spot now because he's getting an insane price here. He's getting 4-1 and he's open-ended.
What a wild hand here. The God of Baccarat. Wow. If ace high wins a 4 million chip pot here.
Yeah.
Can you read? Oh, this is
oh, I love that. That is so good. That is amazing.
600K to 4 million. Queen high gets ace high to fold. What a hand.
And if he got shoved on, he was folding. So he would have preserved 2.5 big blinds. That's an amazing play. Love that.
What a river bluff. 600K to 4 million gets the snap fold from ace high.
It's amazing.
What a hand for the chip lead into Super Millions.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
that was hand of the final table for me so far. So entertaining, and got a background. Might get involved again here. Yeah, he's gone for it with the ace jack. A very small sizing here from out of position.
God of no limit. Hold'em. Change your name, sir. What a hand that was. And they are rewarded with the chip lead.
Amazing.
It all happened so
my bet again.
fast too, but like what a hand. I've never seen something like that.
Yeah. He's going to open the 3-4.
We get the 3-4, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Chat popping off just as Dara and I did. My goodness, guys. Give us a thumbs up for that one. That was one of the craziest hands we have ever seen here.
That's one of my all-time favorite hands, I think.
I've
just everything about it was brilliant. The open,
the open, the check raise, the call, the bet, the turn raise, the call, the check, the snap bluff for like 17% of the pot. That was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Should have showed it. He should have showed the queen high there.
Yeah. Imagine when the delay catches up and he sees that.
No.
I literally could have won a 4.6 million pot with my ace high.
Not the worst hand to consider shoving versus a button open here, actually.
Yeah.
Would be bad timing.
Yeah, I think, and against Victor more so, but yeah, I think the 6 was just a little bit too low. If he had king 8, king 9, he would have been happier about it.
Now Rodrigo defends, flopped bottom pair. I don't think this pot's going to get out of control, but Victor with the best of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Victor has the best of it, but both of them have showdown now, so there's no reason to escalate things.
You never know what you're going to get on the Super Millions final table. Some entertainment has been had here today. You see the turn check from Victor? Yes. Now.
Victor might try to squeeze out some very thin value on the river, get called by ace high or an 8.
Yeah, I think a small bet is going to go in here on the river.
Yeah. No, he takes his check. Yeah, I guess it's quite ambitious to try and... There's not very many hands that will pay you off.
And he says, are there deals allowed at the final table? No, not at the Super Millions final table. We play for blood. We play for glory.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why nobody had put up the old deal sign.
The deal sign's so good. Nice raise from We Ran Poo. Dara, you heading to the Vegas this summer? 2022?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm not going to do the full thing anymore. I find that a little bit too taxing. I've experimented with different things like taking a mid-series break and then coming back. But this year, I'm going to just go for the second half. Get there just in time for the old age pensioners event, and then stay for the rest. Basically,
what's the age requirement for the seniors?
The seniors is 50, and
you can't play that. Maybe you can play that in 5 years, right?
Thank you, Kevin. Well played. And the super seniors is 16. Before anybody asks, no, I can't play the super seniors yet. So yeah, spare me the trolling there.
And the super seniors is 70.
Is there a super seniors? That would be epic. I don't see why not. Like, it's not really fair to make the 70-year-olds play against those young 60-year-olds. It doesn't seem fair.
I can't wait. I think, do you know what my plan is, Dara? As we see an interesting 3-bet pot here. Crush poker, have a good content career, and hang it up though. And then when I'm retired, I'm going to go to the WSOP. I'm going to go play level 1 of the Raz event. I'm going to sit there with my coffee, and I'm just going to play the mixed games for the rest of my life. Nice. That's going to be my retirement plan. Just play the Raz, the Stud 8, Omaha High Low. Just sit there with my coffee, mutter, complain when I lose a couple of pots. Coffee. Yeah. Maybe get a min cash once in a while.
Yeah. Sounds good. And when people look at your Hendon mob and, if you go like 6 months without a cash, they're not sure whether it's just a downswing or maybe you've died in the meantime.
Too much fun here.
Rodrigo, tricky enough decision whether you want to value bet your rate twice, but he has gone for it, and they should get the job done.
Let's get the job done. That is a big swing. My goodness. Winning a 3-bet pot like that at this stage of the tournament. Rodrigo, he hasn't been involved in some crazy action like the other players have, but Rodrigo is solid and deadly. Chat is continually saying that Rodrigo is a crusher. I can see why. I can see why.
Played really well so far, yeah. Yeah.
But the people's champion is the god of Baccarat, though.
I mean, that hand alone was worth the price of admission. That was an amazing hand. Might be my favorite hand of all time, actually.
Do you play the mixed games, Dara?
I have played all of them a little bit, but I've never really put enough study into it for it to be serious. So, yeah, maybe I'll do the same as you when I'm old and retired. I'll give them a go.
It seems like the good mixed game players consistently do very well. Like, I don't know what ROIs are achievable or whatever, but it seems like their win rates are very, very high. Like someone like Phil Hellmuth just always gets it done in the mixed games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my impression is that the mixed games players have a greater edge over the field than the Hold'em players. I guess most of the mixed games are less solved than Hold'em. There's less content out there for them to study as well. So the guys who have sort of put in the hours and gotten good at the games are going to have an edge. So it's got a Baccarat going to bluff here. It's hard to rep anything now at this point.
Give me a check. We ran poo. Had a nice final table so far. I'm excited for the World Series. I don't know how long I'm going to be down there. The main is auto booked every year. You just can't miss the main event. Yeah,
I miss the main, no.
If you're a poker player, you got to go play them. It's the one time where all the poker players gather and compete in the most special tournament, you know?
Oh, it's by far the most special tournament, and there's nothing even close to it in reality. Aussie Millions is special, the Irish Open is special, but the WSOP main event, there's absolutely nothing like it. Atmosphere is amazing. You get to see all the best players playing it.
Speaking of the Irish Open, that just happened this week, right? The Irish Open.
Yeah. I was doing commentary on the final table yesterday, and it was a super interesting final table. Steve O'Dwyer pretty much ran over it. Went post to post. Incredible performance by him. But it was great to see it back because the Irish Open hadn't taken place the last couple of years because of COVID. It had gone online like most other live tournaments, but this was the first live one in a while, and it got over 2,000 runners, which for a country with only 5 million people, that's pretty phenomenal.
That's very impressive.
It was a huge occasion.
I saw.
Riverfront for me. Look at this. The King 2 Open in the cutoff. So loose.
They're out of line. A7, another hand that is
just relentless.
Just into 3 stacks that cover him at the final table. Just no fear. I love it.
Until people start.
And gets rewarded.
Now he might get action. I was literally about to say until people start 3-betting him, he can keep doing this, and but then you might pick up aces. Okay, not too much for we're in poo here. Backdoors, I guess. Very small bet. I like this. That will get some hands to continue, but
it's funny. Riv for Fund Me actually sold action to this tournament on the GG staking client, and their sales pitch actually got a little bit of attention in the poker community. Did you see this from Pads?
No.
Pads on Twitter took a screenshot of River for Fund Me.
And there's going to be an all-in and a call here. No. He did a psych. The good luck psych.
River for Fun Me sold this tournament at 1.02. 1.02. Their sales pitch was, I can't tie my shoes, but I could bleep your bleep. Can't. That's what you know how you can do your little sales pitch with selling action. Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Pads screenshotted it and tweeted it, and it got a lot of attention in the poker community. And look at us here. Riv for Fun Me is at the final table.
The two action players have got involved blind on blind. Got a baccarat raised there with the Jack 2 just because it's such a bad hand. If you're going to raise, you want to raise your really good hands and you want to raise your really bad hands, so you don't mind. Well, it's not a big a deal to have to fold to the limp re-raise, but yeah, nice.
This is crazy. King 7. Let's go.
Oh, this is getting insane now.
Between God of Baccarat and River for Fun Me driving the action here. This is a fascinating. They're playing for a lot of money here.
King 7 against King 7
on the King High flop.
On the King High flop with the backdoor flush draw for the yeah. Okay, I guess they're both trying to get to showdown, and I hope their hand is somehow good.
Gotta love this action here at the Super Millions final table. Rodrigo has to hate his life here, out of position on this turn. But for that size, probably calling.
Yeah, he's basically repping the ace, and maybe he's trying to buy a check on the river.
Can one King 7 outmaneuver the other King 7? King 7 does beat King 7. Wow.
Now we have the same hand twice, ace king.
God of Baccarat. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is just going in. Unless Victor gets involved, this is just going to be all in and a call.
Our short stack here. D7, 7, 7, 7.
Yeah, just taking a little bit of time to make it look like he has a decision, which is fair enough, because you want to balance with the times where you actually have a decision, and obviously snap call.
2 flush draws versus 1 flush draw.
Yeah, and he has chop it up.
There was a pretty famous old clip from High Stakes Poker where Phil Hellmuth was trying to describe how Ace King offsuit was better than Ace King suited because he had 2 chances to make a flush.
Yeah, with Phil, you never really know whether he's being serious or not, but it's quite possible he was.
I'm a big Phil Hellmuth fan.
Yeah, we've had him on our podcast a few times, and it's always a trip. You never really know which Phil Hellmuth you're going to get, like the grumpy old guy who's just going to complain about everything, or the guy who's just going to hold up everything he's trying to shill, or the charming Phil Hellmuth. So Rodrigo picks up ace king, and because of ICM, just shoves it there. Doesn't really want to induce. Oh, Limitless has aces here.
Victor has to realize his seat at the table he has position on Riv Fun for Me and God of Baccarat. His physical seat is by far the best.
Yes.
It's pretty sick that he gets aces and neither of the 2 VPIP there.
Yeah. That always feels like a loss. It's like, just wasted my aces.
Rodrigo with the aces now. Queen 10 suited. This is a lot of fun here watching this final table. We got Dara, one of my favorites. I am your host, Kevin Martin. Guys, do us a favor. Make sure you're subbed to the GG YouTube channel. Give us a quick thumbs up. Helps us bring more awesome content on the GG Poker YouTube channel.
This is a very, very strong flop for the aces with the ace of spades, but it's hard to get too much action here. Yeah, he checks behind. Ooh, and that's a good way to get action.
Queen 10 here pairs the queen, is almost dead. Now we get some value for Rodrigo. Really nice flop check there. I think most people auto bet to a small size.
Yeah.
Wow, big size turn.
I like the sizing, yeah, because he's basically targeting a queen now, and he's trying to make it look like he's gone for a delayed c-bet bluff. You might as well go big there because mostly your opponent's folding anyway. But when he does have a hand, you want to try and maximize the value.
Oh, and your opponent's on the button. You have queen 10 here. What size does Rodrigo go? Definitely value betting, of course. The question is how much? 1.3 million. No, go smaller. Half pot. I like that.
He's basically, yeah, he's trying to get called by a weakish one pair hand here.
Which is exactly what we ran. We ran Pooh's just going to pay off this river, right?
Yeah, I can't see. I mean, you've hit top pair on the turn. Spades have bricked. It's pretty hard to find a fold here.
How do you not pay off here with queen 10 of diamonds? Wow. Very impressive fold. Unbelievable fold from
Pretty impressive there. Yeah. Yeah. It's possible the one thing that going through his mind there was my friend Andrew Brocus always says that if the line is unusual, it's if there's a more straightforward way to bluff, let's say, than the line that was taken, then it's less weighted towards bluffs. And people do bluff monotone boards a lot. So if Rodrigo was going to bluff, he'd probably bluff the flop. The fact that he checked the flop just made Wirampu a bit suspicious, I think, and made him think this is a lot less likely to actually be a bluff now.
What a nice river fold there from Wirampu. Very impressive. They started the final table as the short stack, and they're in the mix. Very, very, very impressive fold there. Rodrigo almost, if they get paid off there, Rodrigo's the chip leader. Very, very, very excellent fold. This is a fun one. Button open, big blind defends.
Yeah.
Riv, fun for me. Going to attack this board with a small bet.
Yeah, this is pretty much a range bet board in the spot. And the ace is now that cuts down the ace combos. So it's harder to have the ace, but he's gone for it again. Don't think he's going to get the king to fold.
Yeah, not to this tiny little sizing. Couple little testy bets there, not going to be successful.
Yeah.
Limitless Victor. What a battle here we're having on this Super Millions final table.
Yeah, it's been fascinating so far. River Fun for me and Got a Baccarat have really enlivened this table just with the way they're going for it. The others are playing more, let's say, standard.
Say that word of wisdom one more time so that can sink in for me and the chat about the bluffs. That was a really good line.
Yeah. Most players, if they're going to bluff, they just take the most straightforward way to bluff. And the most straightforward way to bluff when you've raised the button and the guy defends is to obviously c-bet, and particularly on a monotone board. So very few players are capable of, checking the flop and then deciding to bluff later in the hand. So when the action goes check on the flop and then turn bet river, it's going to be weighted more towards value and less towards bluffs, because a lot of the bluffs would just have taken the opportunity to bluff on the flop, which is the most obvious line.
I love that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's a general principle as well. For example, when players check call the flop and then they get aggressive on a later street on a flop where they would have a lot of check raise bluffs, then it's less likely they're bluffing on the later street after they've check called the flop.
That makes a ton of sense. Very easy to understand way as well. Well put. You should write some strategy books, Dara.
Yeah, I've thought about it many times, and sometimes I imagine I had done it already, but at my age, who knows? I can't even remember my own life anymore. So,
Dara, one of the low-key fascinating things I thought was impressive about you is your history as an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah, that was what I basically did before running, or sorry, before poker. I've always done something competitive. I did chess in my youth and bridge as well, and then I got into ultra running, and that's a fairly mad activity. That's running longer than marathons, anything up to, well, I ran anything up to 24 hours. There are even longer ones as well. And that was a really fun part of my life.
You ran 24 hours straight.
24 hours straight, and it was in Canadian summer, which I'm sure you know, Kevin, is quite warm.
Yes.
And humid. So that was a real challenge.
Wow, that is very impressive. 24 hours of running. I hit 20 minutes on the bike yesterday, and I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
24 hours. You just run for a day straight.
Yeah. It's funny too, because usually it starts in the morning, and obviously by the evening you're very tired, and by the time that you're normally sleeping you're really, really tired. And the most difficult part of it is the time where you're normally sleeping, because your body just expects to be sleeping and fall asleep. But then once you get through that, to the next morning you perk up again, and the old circadian rhythms kick in.
That's amazing that the body can do that.
Yeah.
I want to try a lot of things in my life. I don't think ultra marathons is on that list. I think I'm happy leaving that to other individuals.
Wow, look at this hand. Between the two guys we've mentioned already as really spicing them, the Jack 4 off open, definitely not solver approved. The 10-7 off 3-bet.
Between the two of them, they had Jack 7, 10, Jack 4, 10-7, no suitedness to be found. Well, we just 3-bet the 10-7, or we're going to open the 10-7 now.
Well, 10-7 seems to be the hand now, so maybe we get opened. I was looking at that hand thinking, okay, Victor's going to shove from the small blind with his king 6. I mean, what kind of an idiot am I? I clearly haven't been watching the action. Clearly the Jack 4 off is going to open, and clearly the 10-7 off is going to 3-bet.
That was just so chaotic. Those two players are such action right now, giving such juice to this final table. What a spot for the short stack here. D777 has been selective, wakes up with the aces in the dream spot.
Okay, please.
I was gonna say got a backrat's gonna fold, but we just don't know. Like maybe 10-7 is, it's Daniel Negreanu's hand, right? The 10-7 offsuit.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting an amazing price, and if you can force Victor out of the pot. But yeah, thankfully he found the fold.
Victor's got a call. Priced in.
Yeah, Victor's priced in for sure.
Aces
That's
versus
the right kind of hand to crack aces. But it's difficult now.
Flop. Wow, and D777, what a burst to their stack. The Island Boys still getting quite a mention in the chat.
Yeah, I'm still debating whether I need to check out to search out that clip or not.
I would say my life has been on a better trajectory since I watched the Island Boys on TikTok. I think I will think of my life in two parts: before I saw that video and after. It just enlightened me. It just inspired me to see such talent, such creativity.
What's the 5-3 going to do here? Okay, he takes the sensible route and just checks.
Five high, ace king high.
Yeah, the 5-3 is a gutter. Yeah, not surprised to see him throw out the bet there. You probably don't get ace king to fold, but you do get a lot of hands to fold.
Riv fun for me. How far are they going to go here? In terms of bluffing here, this is a really good candidate. You have that gut shot. No, it does just check back. What up, Matt B in the chat? Roller 222, the Danish sausage. Okay, 5-3 just does yield there. Interesting they take such aggressive pre-flop action and then just don't decide to bluff there with 5-3.
Yeah, we pretty much have the worst hand we have, and yeah, just very strong argument for bluffing there on the river, but decided not to go for it this time. So this is a
Wow,
very loose
Victor, everyone's enjoying the loose open once 4-7 suited.
He's opening into the two loosest players as well.
Wow, Victor just finds it here. And it does work. Dara, we're seeing some shocking decisions on this final table.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Limitless doing that. I mean, he's clearly going for it. And I kind of expected he might at the start. But the other two boys, I mean, we've had so many entertaining hands between them so far. A couple of absolute epic hands, actually.
Lines have gone up. Oh, big flop for D777. Is Felipe still chilling in the chat? Our final table participant, who we've been playing six-handed for a while here. Lines are up. $454,000 for first place. Just under $500,000 USD. Cash money.
And mandatory open with the 5 off.
It's funny how they're not getting the wide opens are not getting punished that hard. Like they've actually been pretty successful.
Yeah. Yeah, and as long as you don't get 3-bet, you can keep doing this. Now he's got a backer's hand is so good he might not 3-bet. He might just call this one. No, he has gone for the 3-bet. Yeah.
Again, Victor's in the dream spot to the left of these two cannons. If he can pick up some hands. Felipe in the chat. Felipe, you made an incredible fold with that ace queen in that one spot.
Yeah, respect. That was a tremendous fold.
Now D7777. Finds a nice one here.
Yeah, he basically committed there. He didn't want to induce action with the ace-10. He made big enough raise that he clearly wasn't folding. He also didn't want to get called, and Victor picks up aces.
Seen the aces get passed around quite a bit here. Victor's had him a couple times. Hasn't been able to get a lot of action.
Yeah, tricky enough spot with the sixes here. You could certainly justify calling on the button, but calling here with so many players behind feels a bit worse. And it is against Victor. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see that fold.
So brutal. I mean, especially through the delay. I don't know if Victor's watching the show. He must see all these crazy hands of E-Pippin. And every time he's had aces, he's had absolutely no action at all.
Yeah.
Dara, I know God of Backrats your who do you think, who is the favorite to win this right now? Is
that's
it
a really
Rodrigo?
I think it might be Rodrigo, yeah. Yeah, of the players who are playing closest to optimal, he's the one with the biggest stack. Obviously, Victor's a sicko as well, and I have been very impressed by D777 too. So they're the three guys who are playing the normal game. Often the guys who played the most eye-catching at the start of a final table, they do tend to blow out later on. These guys are all sort of playing the patient game. You mentioned the Irish Open earlier, and I said I did commentary on that. And Steve O'Dwyer basically approached the start very, very conservatively, very, very cautiously, just picked good spots, gradually accumulated chips, and got there very easily in the end. This is an interesting spot now. We have a few hands out. I mean, normally twos wouldn't be a hand in this spot, but okay, no, he does let it go.
Oh,
this is trouble for Rodrigo.
Rodrigo is not going to suspect too much. I mean, you still give your opponent the traps, of course, with aces here. But We Ran Prue never has ace king. So you just don't have a lot to worry about. Except the aces. Heart turn might slow down a tiny bit of action.
Yeah.
Still king queen here in a world of hurt.
Yeah, your king queen really has shriveled up in value now after you got called on the flop and the heart rolls off on the turn. Interesting to see what Weir-Ampou does here. Yeah, small bet makes sense just to sort of fold that equity and keep your range uncapped.
I think Rodrigo's going to check call versus that size. River.
Yeah.
Go for a little bit of value here, perhaps.
Yeah, he's certainly given that some consideration. Just thinking about the hands that can call. King is the obvious hand. It could be a jack some of the time as well. It's basically a pot-sized shove, so he's kind of making his hand look like a bluff now. I think he's worked out that he pretty much always has the best hand, and he's trying to make his hand look like a bluff.
Goes for all of it. Pretty impressive for Weir-Ampou to find the shove here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if Rodrigo's hand makes a good bluff catcher. He's not blocking hearts.
Blocking queen 10 and ace queen very bad.
Blocking
there.
queen 10 and ace queen, yeah, and they could very well be in the bluffing column. So he does find the fold.
Nice hand from the pocket aces. Yeah, Weir-Ampou would flat aces pre there, but would never flat ace king. Would always be shoving ace king. So that was a very interesting hand.
Got a baccarat, obviously opening the ace 8 here.
Still six-handed. D7, 7, 7, 7, and Weir-Ampou started the final table as the two shortest stacks, and here they are, very much in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, these fives are a shove without ICM. I think he took his time to try and decide, but got a baccarat open so wide. I think you can shove a lot wider on him than you would normally. I'm not sure that's a shove against somebody playing in inverted commas normally, but got a baccarat has much wider ranges.
This is crazy how everybody's so close now. And Victor, who was chip leading at one point, is now the short stack.
Yeah. Yeah, the blinds have escalated now. We did start very, very deep, but now you're in a spot where if you lose one or two pots, suddenly you can find yourself as the short stack.
It's scary, but against Riv Fun for me and God of Baccarat players who are opening absurdly wide, I would be looking to shove hands like this with the pocket eights.
Yeah, I would have shoved pretty for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, we saw D7-7 decide that fives was good enough to shove earlier the last hand, and I think this spot is somewhat similar because it is Riv Fun for me, who you can even see from the numbers like 31. He is the loosest player on the table, so and eights is very hard to play out of position. This won't get the job done because of the flush draw, and now you're sitting there with your eights thinking, what do I do now? Maybe small blocker bet.
Does block the turn. Check, check. Winner. Pocket eights. Weir-Ampou. Very impressed with how the two short stacks have just made so many good decisions here, taking advantage of their spots, and now they're sitting right at the top of the leaderboard.
This is an interesting spot. You could make an argument here for a small 3-bet just to leverage the stacks with the ace 8. You would get a lot of folds from Rodrigo, but he decides to let it go.
All right, we're so even here. We are very, very even.
This is all to play for. It's even difficult to see who the chip leader is. The stacks are so close.
Yeah. Right now, it's God of Baccarat just by a pip. King 4 could limp, raise first in, shove all options.
Yeah, they're all options. The shove will work a lot there because of the ICM. Victor's call off range has to be so tight. Victor might be thinking of doing something here. Yeah. Again, if ICM wasn't a thing, I think we might see him play that aggressively. But with ICM being a thing, he's just taking the low variance approach.
We're gonna see some blood very soon. You can feel the tension building with how close everybody is. Blinds going up in just 7 hands. It's like we're not super deep anymore. Ooh, kings for D777.
Yeah, and he's getting action. The queen 9 is always opening on the button here.
For sure. What do we
big
do
open
here?
as well. Big open, 2.4x or whatever that is.
Wow, just calls, just slow plays, flops, top set.
Oh, I love this play. It's against God of Baccarat. This is very good. He's unlucky that God of Baccarat actually flopped second pair because that slowed him down. He's checked it the whole way. Wow. Now he has to think God of Baccarat has just decided not to bluff this hand and therefore must have some sort of weakish showdown. Yeah, and now he's basically saying, okay, I think you have weakish showdown. I'm going to make it look like I'm trying to get you off your weak showdown hand. Really good fold from God of Baccarat there. I mean, I guess he just loses to everything. The ace on the turn was bad news for D7-7 there. Made it less likely he was going to get called.
Stacks smushed together. Victor is the one trailing behind, but still very much in it. Every player locked up $124,000. You see the Jack-8 off open. Gets it through. God of Baccarat just keeps coming. Just keeps coming with the opens, you know?
Yeah, completely relentless. No, surely not.
You just don't know. I see the Jack-3. My eyes move to the other hands, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know if it's going to get opened. This one would actually work.
It would work, yeah. Yeah. Maybe he's just run off to play some Baccarat.
There are Baccarat tables offered on the GGPoker website. You never know if he might be multi-tabling some Baccarat with this final table.
Yeah. This is, yeah, okay, sitting at him. I guess he has connection issues. Wow, what a time to be sitting out.
Let's pay attention to his hand here. It's going to get mucked under the gun. It's the, well, we don't even get to see it.
Ooh, we didn't even see it. Shame.
Did you catch it there?
No.
We have had connection issues on previous final table shows. This is a storyline to follow. God of Baccarat currently sitting out.
Yeah, Victor will probably take this one down.
What happens if they just don't come back? Changes the dynamic massively.
It really does. Yeah, it's hard for me to win my bet if that happens.
Wow, bet. King deuce of clubs calls out of position.
That's an aggressive call.
Wide. King high is the best hand.
Yeah, and the double paired board will make him feel a lot better about his hand as well. Does Victor go for it here? We're trying to fold out Jack Queen and maybe King high on this board.
Half pot.
Yeah, that size will work against a lot of those hands. So
I think King high is going to call here. Defended the flop. Board runs out pretty clean. Double barrels, double pairs.
Interesting spot now. Yeah. Your King high does have a lot of showdown here. You are beating all the bluffs, but obviously just the bluffs.
Riv fun for me. There it is.
He finds the call.
Heroes correctly. Wow. Takes the chips from Limitless. I mean, the flop call is not standard. Oh, Queen 10 suited in the big blind. God of Baccarat, where are you?
This is, yeah. Somebody check the baccarat tables, please.
Dara, this final table is chaotic. It is chaotic in unspeakable ways. This is a 10K final table. We're seeing the craziest things.
Victor shoves here because the big blind is sitting out, and yeah, he's going to be in very bad shape. That shove was definitely made more likely because of the sit out, and he needs to find a king.
Needs a king, or else my horse is gone. No. Good game to Victor.
So yours is gone and mine is sitting out. This is looking good for either of us. But
all right. So my horse is eliminated. Dara, that means you were free rolling our prop bet. Victor, good game. I mean, he saw the chaos happening around him. He just couldn't really take advantage in the right moments. And he is gone in sixth place, 124,000. We are 5-handed, and one of our players is sitting out, and Riv Fun for me is looking to take over. Can anybody text God of Baccarat? Does anyone know who that is?
Look at this.
Mohammed. Oh, wow. Rodrigo 4-bet shoves right into the jacks. All in.
It's a huge moment. The jacks hold here.
Oh. They do.
They do. I really don't blame. I don't blame him for shoving there because Riv Fun for me is such an action player that his 3-bets, you just can't give them the same respect. And unfortunately for him, he had it this time.
Wow, back-to-back busts. You know, we've seen Riv like 3-bet King 7, all sorts of stuff. So the suited ace definitely makes sense. Just like that, I would say the two best players are gone, and we're down to the final 4.
Yep.
Wow, unbelievable action there. And our overwhelming chip leader, Riv Fun for me. 3-bet Queen 7, 4-bet Queen Jack for half the stack.
Oh, look at this.
Look at this.
What is happening? This is epic.
Buttons are being clicked. Chaos, absolute chaos.
And just like that, God of Baccarat moves back into second place. Maybe he just really wanted to get those chips back from when he was disconnected.
Yeah, his internet could go at any second. He makes the most of the Queen Jack there.
Really sick. Shout out to Costa V in the chat, says greetings from the Let's Give Us a Spin community. Yeah, I did some commentary in Tallinn recently on the Patrick Antonius challenge, and those boys all showed up and they were great fun. They follow a very prominent slots streamer who also plays poker. You ever watch any slot streams?
Is that Kim?
Yeah. He was playing in the Patrick Antonius challenge.
He has been on multiple episodes of High Stakes Poker this year as well.
Correct. Did really well.
Very good, actually. Yeah. He streams slots?
He streams slots, as far as I understand. Yeah, I've never actually watched them. I was going to ask you if you've ever watched slot streaming.
I have never watched slots streaming. No, but I know there are multiple massive channels that do it. The biggest...
This got a backer. Ace is here.
This is, I mean, we've seen some chaotic action on the Super Million show, but this is up there.
Yeah. If you've got a baccarat, you got to raise with your image. Like you just got such a mental image, you might get. You're just not going to get any respect there.
Limp raise call. The two biggest action players we've ever seen and the two shortest stacks to start the final table have made it here to the top 4. All guaranteed $208,000. Let's see who's going to walk away. What's up, HB Stretch? Good to see you. Jeremy Bird, Kenny P.
Ace-9's gone for the call here against River fun for me. Doubt he's giving up to one bet.
Yeah, such a small. It does just yield.
He does. Yeah, I guess he just didn't. I guess there's just not many turns that you're going to be happy about. So he's waiting for a clearer spot.
Riv Fun for me sold his action at 1.02. Whoever bought is having themselves a nice little time. So now D777 and We Ran Prue have definitely been the tighter of these four, being really selective. Do they open it up now? Your final four. Wow. Wow,
Oh.
what an action board.
Oh my God. Flush against not flush draw.
5-9 suited, flops the flush, and look at that card, the ace of hearts for the button player.
And he just leads as well, which is super interesting. You wouldn't expect very many leads at all in this situation, but
we've seen lots of things today, Dara, that you would not normally expect.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now what does he do? Does he go big? Yeah, he goes relatively big here. Basically targeting this type of hand. D7-7 has picked up the gut shot to go with his flush draw. He's not to know that she's hitting his gutter would be pretty bad.
Just under pot on the turn. We know ace 5 is not folding. Does it all go in the turn? I wouldn't be shocked to see a shove here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Yeah, because you can get better hands to fold, and you still have the backup of the draw if you get called. It's also if you just call here and miss river, it's kind of gross. The other hand, if you call and hit river, it's quite likely that this player would bluff. Now does he go? No, he just gone for it all.
That's going to be the end of that. I kind of like it. Obviously, we can see the cards. If Riv Fun for me checks, we get ace 5 to bluff. But as played, I just love that you just got to get value from the king jack, king 10. That's not going to fold the two pairs.
Yeah.
And there is your overwhelming chip leader. My, oh my. First one to crack the 10 million mark.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an overwhelming chip leader now, almost twice as many chips as the next highest player. So great spot for him now.
Dar, are you going to take some of this implemented in your own game? Some of the Jack 4 off opens, the 10-7 off 3 bets?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is clearly the new GTO. Just open all these hands.
King 3 off.
I think
don't hate this one as much. This one.
Yeah, this one seems fine, particularly with the ICM pressure. Those two stacks are almost competing for third and fourth now. I also don't mind just shoving here because this ace 10 is a very big hand in this spot, and there's also one, but he's decided to let it go. So he does have significantly more chips than D7-7. So he basically wants D7-7 to bust first before he makes his move. I think we're going to see all these chips going in with the ace king.
Yeah, here's the shove. Dream hand to pick up versus a wide chip leader. You're shallow enough where it's just all of it in the middle.
It's the quick fold. And that actually moves him back towards where Impu's stack now. So those two guys are in a dogfight for third and fourth right now. And obviously, once the other guy goes, you can set your sights higher. But they would both like to lock up third.
These are the two that have been providing the action. Got a Baccarat. Bottom pair. Honestly, yeah, I like it. I like a check raise here with this hand. 8-5 and the situation. Okay.
Yeah. It was a big bet by got a Baccarat, which is a bit scary, but
given the presence of the short stacks, a check raise would have been very fun there. Guys, thank you for joining us. This has been a stimulating final table. Dara has delivered in every way possible. Thank you for chilling with us. If you can do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Takes 2 seconds. We ask a couple times per show. That helps us out tremendously. Also, make sure. Oh, the Doyle Brunson here.
Look at this. Oh my, this is so high wire stuff. He's 3-bet the chip leader. He's the second in chip, so he's the one who has the most ICM pressure on him. And I think River Fun for me is thinking of just, I'm just going to let it rip here. I've got a king. I've got a 4. No, he backs off. He shows
the Doyle Brunson. Man, these two are just so great. Oh, has the 10s now. Once you show a hand like that, you pick up the 10s.
Oh, he might 3-bet again here.
The other two short stacks are they're just hoping to stay out of the way. They're
like, please, one of you knock the other one out, and we'll both ladder.
2 big stacks, 2 short stacks here. Poker entertainment at its finest. I love this, I love just the hand choices, the decisions.
I think the king queen just shoves now because he doesn't really want to induce action because of the ICM. Yeah, I like this shove.
Me too. Are you working on poker book number 4? Is that coming anytime soon?
Yeah, we're the current book, which Barry he's using the working title, which absolutely won't be the actual title when we put it out. But it's GTO for normies. It's basically an attempt to explain game theory and why it's important in poker to a recreational audience. And that we intend that to be the next book. Although we are now toying with the idea of doing a mystery bounty book as well, because mystery bounties are really taking off. And of course, GG are the first site to have them online, and they're proving very, very popular with recreationals.
I would love a book on mystery bounties because I've been playing them a little bit, and it's an unsolved science. I would love to hear your take on mystery bounties.
Yeah, I initially thought there wasn't too much to them. I thought they were like the old non-progressive bounties, but the fact that the bounties don't kick into day 2, that's the really interesting aspect, and that makes the maths quite interesting. So I've had a lot of fun thinking about them and trying to work out the strategy.
We go with the 3x, the shove. This could be bad news.
Needs to hit his ace.
Spades, suited ace here versus 10s. That's not a good start. Wow, that actually picks up outs.
Yeah, it's weird. Got it back in his set, King but more outs down. King or a 9.
No. Good game. 4th place finisher, D7777. Honestly, they came in as the super short stack. They ladder all the way to 4th. Going to be pretty happy with that performance overall. And here we are, 3-handed. Wow, look at these 3 hands. 3-handed. This could be the tournament. This could actually be the tournament right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be a 3-way all-in. Shove, shove, shove. It's all going.
Feels like a 3-way all-in, yeah.
And basically, God of Baccarat and Riv for Fun Me are going to be flipping for this tournament right here, right now.
Wow, it's folded the Ace King.
Ace King hits the muck. Did not expect that.
Yeah.
Wow. Gonna be patting himself on the back. Yeah, results-oriented thinking. Would have lost.
That would have been the tournament for Rip Fun.
Dude,
for me.
God of Baccarat, I was the last person I thought would muck the Ace King there, Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, and here we are. The 2 action players, heads up. Good game. 3rd place finisher takes $270,000.
Yeah. Yeah, the fold is interesting there. That might actually be a theoretical fold just because of the ICM.
Sure.
Because the small blind has a much stronger range than the shover. So he's almost always going to knock out the other guy, and you're going to ladder to 2nd.
Absolutely. You could definitely argue a fold there. Just given the dynamic of what we've seen from these 2 players. I in a million years did not think Ace King was going to hit the muck there.
Yeah, it was a case of like, forget the theory. This is definitely going in. But again, God of Baccarat surprised us. And here he rivers the straight against a pretty weak pair.
And Dara, you are free rolling here, by the way. If Dara Baccarat wins, I owe Dara $100. Just a classic case of me inviting guests on and losing money to them. It is so sick how I run in these prop bets. It's actually unreasonable. Wow, look at this, 800K.
Yeah, that's a very big open size.
Both players locked up 350,000 here. We're playing a 100K heads up match. Let's see how these two play heads up.
These are very big sizes he's using.
Wow, top pair. Limp race call. This is just what a final table. It's left both Dara and I speechless at some moments.
Yeah, you really can't predict what these players are going to do. They've both been the most unpredictable players, and yeah, the Ace King has decided he's just going to go for it here. Yeah, he has the nut 2 overcards.
Big check raise. 7 million in the middle. All of it. Does the 9-7 stick it in here? Wow.
Finds the wow. That's power poker.
Ace King forces the 9 out of the pot. Unbelievable.
Yeah, these guys are both so aggro. It's just okay now. Wow, he's outflopped him again. This is a 100K heads up match.
What is going on?
The sizings are just off the chart here.
What is?
I'm
lost for words. I'm lost for words. Every thought I've had about poker is now in jeopardy.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing it all wrong. When we run our PO sims in future, we're going to have to start putting in the 5x pots option more often and see what's supposed to 5x pot it.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Unfiltered aggression from both.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the shove here. Ace-3 is just a horrible hand, but it has very good raw equity. And against somebody like got a back right, yeah, I showed the 3, obviously.
It could be over in any second with these two.
Oh, I don't expect this to go on very long at all.
My good buddy Jason Somerville tells a story about where he won his No Limit Hold'em heads up bracelet of the World Series. He got heads up with what he thought was a weaker opponent, and they were both 90 bigs deep. First hand of the heads up match, he's like, all right, I'm going to play limp. He's like, I'm going to just chip. He's like, this might be the longest heads up match in the history of the Rio. He was planning to chip away. He limps the first hand, gets raised, re-raises. He has aces. His opponent 5 bets all in with the king 7 offsuit, and he just wins the heads up in one hand. He was planning to chip away at him forever, but yeah. With 5 bets, he got the aces in versus the king 7 and won the whole thing. I love that story.
Yeah,
so Jason Somerville, one of the content goats. These two are top of range for these players. Queen 9, king 8.
Yeah, and the 4x open size is just so unorthodox on the button. You're kind of forcing the guy to fold a lot when you're in position. And then, okay, you obviously potted because you've got nothing.
This is some classic power poker. This doesn't seem like a horrible heads up strat, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're forcing the other guy to make a hand, basically. And yeah, everyone from his limping buttons now going, please, can we keep the pot down to a reasonable size? Bottom pair against top pair here. Let's see how big this gets. Check call seems best. We can value bet again, obviously, the heads up, but he goes for the check. Maybe he's hoping to pick off a bluff on the river. Oh, no, he's actually raising for value, which is super interesting.
This is madness. This is chaotic.
And if got a back row goes again, the queen jack's in kind of a gross spot.
Give it back to him. No, it just folds.
Yeah.
Thanks for broadcast, Kevin. I love to watch you playing your animations and emotions. I appreciate you guys. Oh, thank you very much. Compliments for me and Dara. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching.
Look at this, the 8x open now.
8x.
This is amazing. I have never seen this style before, heads up, I have to say.
We might be seeing a new meta be created. Maybe this is the way.
Yeah.
You know, in all great inventions in history, like, you know, Henry Ford and the automobile, you know, people weren't hype about it when it first came out. People thought he was crazy. You know, the internet, these things were not accepted. Maybe this is the heads up style. God of Baccarat paving the way.
Yeah, and this is a strange hand too. He made a really small raise from this big blind, but 9-4, so that nothing can fold, and essentially just sweetened the pot, bloated it out of position. Now he's got bottom pair, and he basically just hoping his hand is good here. And yeah,
bluffing with 2-3 high, the nut low. I like it.
Yeah,
gets it through.
Yeah, that worked. That worked. And he shows, obviously. I think that worked because of what I said earlier about how players usually take the most straightforward line if they're going to bluff, and wait until the river to bluff is kind of unusual. You'd expect him to maybe go on the turn after it goes check, check.
I love this. Riv fun for me just needs to pick up a hand. He needs like
he's like, this was great fun until he started 8xing every hand, and now what do I do? Okay, I think fives is actually, you can induce here. As sick as it seems, you would normally just shove the fives and hope the guy folds. But yeah, he's gone for the induce.
4-3 off. Oh, this could be trouble, actually. This could be something. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
4-3 is almost dead.
Yeah. Yeah, needs a
4 wins the tournament. This is exactly Riv fun for me was looking for, and that is big. That is crazy. We're back to even.
Yeah, we're back to almost stone even now. And let's see if God of Baccarat changes his style now that the stacks are almost level. No, 4x with the 8-2 out of position. Riv fun for me, yeah, that's absolutely what he should do. This hand is strong enough.
Oh, I'm calling 4x calls out of position. This is going in.
Shove.
For the tournament, a live flush draw. A live flush draw. Needs the heart. Is it there to be a oh, it is! Oh my God! The God of Baccarat is our Super Millions champion. Unbelievable way to win the tournament.
Oh my goodness. And I won my $100 as well.
Dara, I've never seen something like that. I've never seen something like that in a 10K. Unbelievable.
10K, yeah, that's right. We just witnessed a 10K. Yeah.
I mean, it is a beautiful game. My oh my, we get everything in the poker world. That was truly something special. Dara, I'm a little speechless. Talk to us. Can you sum that final table up for us?
I mean, the two action players got heads up, and they didn't disappoint. God of Baccarat, he had such an unorthodox style. He was just 7xing, 8xing pre. He was shoving for 5 times pot and flops with almost anything. He basically turned it into just short stack poker, even though they were relatively deep. I mean, at the start of that last hand, I think they were 55 big blinds deep effective, but they only took until the turn to get it in. It's just
such madness. We've seen like so many final tables where we have these top pros dialing in this perfect strategy, and then today was just a beautiful glimpse of chaos. And the beautiful thing is that God of Baccarat won. They won the whole tournament. They beat some of the best players in the world and took down almost $500,000. That's why we love this game. It's just so full of action, and anybody can have a good day and take down a tournament. So God of Baccarat, thank you for the entertainment, and congrats on the $500,000. Riv, fun for me. Unbelievable action player. Gets second place as well. That was truly, truly something. Thank you guys for joining us on the GG YouTube channel. This was a lot of fun. I, of course, am your host, Kevin Martin. Next week, we got a fun show with another awesome personality. We'll just keep our cards close to our vest. We'll see you next week on Tuesday. Dara, you ditched the wife last minute. You came in here and you delivered like you always do. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin. It's always fun to hang out with you, and I knew this was going to be fun, but I couldn't have predicted how much fun this was going to be. This was an amazing final table to witness and to commentate on.
We might never see a Super Millions final table like that ever again. I'm looking forward to the highlight reel. I'm going to drop Dara's Twitter in the chat. Give him a follow. Active in the poker community, tweeting opinions, commentary, poker books, ICM strategies. So Dara is one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Make sure you give us a thumbs up for this amazing final table. Sub to the GG YouTube channel. Also, this week I'm playing poker on my own content channels as well, trying to make the dream happen. Some very exciting stuff is happening in my poker career, so follow me there as well. Yeah, any final words, Dara?
No, just what an epic final table and so many epic hands. Yeah, just I'm almost speechless, and that's pretty hard to make me speechless. But that was unbelievable fun.
I mean, what a way to end it! The live flush draw with the just gets there for all the money. It's so sick.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Much love and peace.